Hello, fellow DRE analysts. Sean here again with another demo, this time for version 1.12 of the automated DRE. Let me point your attention really quickly to the advanced setup screen where we now have another tab called Other, and we have the ability to adjust the tracer gas concentration if in the event that you cannot find a pure bottle to measure the flow rate with. The big change that we've made to this update is the allowing what we call a dual outlet flow measurement. This will essentially allows you to measure the inlet and the outlet flows simultaneously. This has the benefit of saving time. If, for example, you're running gas from, say, the tool or from the inlet, and you're running it in a situation in which the flow gas component is not going to be destroyed by the POU burner. So you'll see you can only select one inlet to also simultaneously measure with the outlet. However, you could choose. You could also measure other inlets at the same as well sequentially. So moving on, let me show you what happens here. So here's the screen. Dual manual flow, the inlet one name plus the outlet, right? We have our normal kind of a setup that we're used to. However, we have this split, the inlet and the outlet uh, time series plots. Down below, we see a little bit of change. Most notably, we have this big old button here. Clicking this button allows you to toggle between the inlet and outlet table views of our results. For example, if I wanted to set my second and third regions, I toggle over to the outlet. I can turn these on. Then I can toggle back to my inlet. I could toggle these on, and I can go ahead and set my regions appropriately to manually measure the flow at the inlet and the outlet simultaneously. One other feature, we have this checkbox here, same tracer flow, inlet and outlet. What this does is it allows you to simply adjust the tracer flow rate on one of the screens. I changed this to from 40 to 45, and you'll see that the change occurred as well from 40 to 45 on the inlet and the outlet, just to save you some time. Another new feature which is being displayed here is what I call the inlet and outlet monitors. This is for the FTIR cell conditions. So we'll get a live display as we're collecting data of the temperature and the pressure, and we have these indicator lights here. Notice that this indicator light is yellow because in my demo mode that I'm operating in, the cell pressure is 1 atmosphere. Yellow indicating if the cell pressure really was 1 atmosphere, then we wouldn't have any vacuum. These lights also will turn red if, for example, the cell temperatures are abnormally high or the cell pressure is much higher than even 1 atmosphere. Okay, one more thing I wanted to show quickly. We're back to the home page here. If we expand our options menu, you can see that we have this new category application type. It defaults to this live collection mode, which is how we've always ran the application. However, we added this view alter previous data mode, aka load data. So if we use this, we can view previously collected data inside of this application. If we hit next, you'll see we launch this DRE data finder window. This is a convenience to help you find where this information is stored, because there's actually 3 files that are generated when you run the DRE in live mode. So for example, if we go to demo, and we'll see, so this first pane would be your fab IDs. The second pane would be your POU IDs. So if I go to demo POU, for example, now I have 4 sets of files. These are actual DRE measurement results. So the file itself has this timestamp here. But however, if I click on it, I get this little preview mode here. So the fab, the POU ID. But then we have this timestamp, right? So we have the date and time of the first data point collected and the date and time of the final data point collected within that file. So you can use this to line up with your notes and figure out which file you actually want to look at. There's a couple of more fields below based upon just recording the type of measurement that was recorded. Maybe something like the data point count or the number of compounds might be useful as well in identifying what you look for. And you'll see when we select this file, these check marks, they check and then they become disabled, so you can't so you don't have to check them yourselves. But the full path file names themselves are located in this bar, this text box here. So you have your inlet DRE data, your outlet DRE data, and your flow data. If, for example, you couldn't find the information that you're looking for in this pane above, you can manually select these buttons to launch an Explorer window where you can search for them yourself and plug them in. But here we go. So if I hit accept, we're going to load this data in. And we're going to jump all the way to the final page, the measurement page, where our data is loaded into the DRE viewer. All the conditions have been set to the conditions of which it was measured. So in this particular case, I had recorded it in the auto region select mode. But what's nice about this is we can pull this information up. We can say we can make some changes. Say instead of using the auto region, I wanted to use the manual region select. And if I do that, it will go ahead and update my DRE results, for example. So we have our 3 bars now instead of our single bar. And then I can save these results. So it allows a little bit of manipulation, allows you to adjust your regions or the way in which you are determining your DRE results, and then resave that data. Also, if you go ahead and back up and if you've loaded in that flow file, you'll see all your flow information is presented in all of these screens. Thanks.